instead of trying to show up in a way that's not in alignment with who they are, instead of trying to do work that's not for them, instead of trying to be like everybody else, we lean into, okay, what am I really good at? What am I super confident in? And then we look at the mindset blocks. Like, what are all the mindset things that are holding you back from being that right now, right? Because you already are that, but it's almost like if you picture maybe like a crystal inside of the earth, right? There's this beautiful, shiny, bright crystal, but we can't see it because it's deep within the earth, right? It's being buried and covered by, whatever, earth, muck, stuff. And so in order for that crystal to shine, we need to dig through and pull it out. So we're kind of clearing the muck, clearing the stories, clearing all of the limiting beliefs that we learned from the time that we were born until now, from all of the things that we've paid attention to that maybe do not serve our higher power, to all of the thoughts and patterns that we've created that do not align with our future version of ourselves and what we desire to create in this lifetime, so that we can uncover the beautiful, shiny crystal, right? And I find that when we approach it from this way, instead of trying to force yourself to be something that you're not, instead of trying to force yourself to sell a 4K, 5K, 6K package when you're just not ready, you actually gain more traction because you can go in, get the confidence, right? And then up level. Go in, get the confidence, up level, instead of trying to push against that resistance. We're doing when we are showing up as our next level selves is we're really just, okay, I'm doing the energetic work. I am removing my mindset blocks, removing the obstacles, working on my worthiness to receive. And then I'm showing up and I'm putting my signal out there to be like, hey, here I am. This is what I can do for you. And I know that a lot of people struggle with this, and we can do this by correctly positioning ourselves online. So how do we position ourselves online, right? There are 3 steps that came to mind when I was creating this training. And the first one is obviously positioning, right? So the way in which we communicate online, and I'm going to dive more into this, but the way in which we communicate online and then invite people into our world makes it really easy for people to go from passively consuming our content to actively engaging in our world, because the invitation is very clear. We are creating a clear process, a clear step, a clear, here's the next step you need to take if you want this, right? And this is super key because I find a lot of people will post content, but kind of just that's it. There's no call to action. There's no what to do if you want more. There's no clear, what's the next step? How do we move forward? Do you know what I mean? And so the more that we can practice setting up the invitation and then inviting via call to action every single time we post content, the easier it'll be to welcome in soulmate clients, the easier it'll be to attract clients more easily, because there's literally always an invitation, right? So at the end of each podcast episode that I do, there's always an invitation. There's either an advertisement that I create that goes in the middle of my podcast, and toward the end, there's an invitation as well. And a note on this, the more clear you can create the progression, if you will, the content and then the call to action, as long as they're linked together, they make sense together, then it's easier to welcome people into your world, right? So you'll teach on a thing, and that thing relates to the thing that you're selling, the thing that you want to invite them to, right? There's a clear progression. It's if I know some people will post some content, but then it's not really relevant to what the invitation is or what the call to action is. And that can just feel a little bit disjointed. It's almost like reading a book and then there's no flow. There's no transition. There's no seamlessness. It's kind of clunky. So whenever we're creating content, we want to keep in mind that invitation. Does this make sense? And what we want our audience to feel, what we want them to know. So the first step, if you are position yourself online better and to create an easy invitation, the first step is to get clear on who you're serving, right? I think that what I've experienced, observed, and worked through myself in my business years is that there's this kind of mentality where it's like, oh, well, I don't want to limit what I do, right? I don't want to say I only work with women, for example, but really I work with men and women. Or I don't want to say that I'm only a career coach because I also do this. And I totally resonate with all of that. I work with men, I work with women, I work with people on building their business. I work with people on having better relationships. I work with people on manifestation, which includes their career, their life, their family, their dynamic with their kids, with their partner. Like, so much different stuff comes up in my containers because it's all part of life and it's all part of learning and it's all applicable to manifestation and also your business and how you show up, right? So I do all of those things, but if I go out there and I say, like, I'm a health coach and I help you with your kids and I help you with this and with that, like, it doesn't really actually create clarity in what people are coming to you for, right? And so what I recommend to my clients is to pick a past client that you loved working with and create content for them. So again, this is stuff that I expand on inside of the Aligned to Magnetic Business Accelerator. But for the sake of today's training, I really want to help you with the perspective of which to show up with. And that is surrounding the law of giving and receiving, right? So one of the laws of the universe is the law of giving and receiving. And I find that a lot of people who come into business, and myself included, it's kind of like, I have a business, I'm entitled to work with people, right? And what I have found is that doesn't really work. So instead, what I help people to do is give so that they can receive, right? Is show up and share what they do with the world so that people not only can get an inside look at what it is that they do, but also people can be welcomed and invited into their journey, into their sphere, into their circle on the internet, right? So one of the things that we can do when it comes to the law of giving and receiving, we focus on service, right? Focus on other people rather than on yourself. And obviously you can use yourself as like an example. You can tell stories about yourself or things that you went through. I think that's actually super powerful. Storytelling is a huge tool when it comes to connecting with your clients because people love stories. Another thing that you're going to want to do is help people to become aware of the issues that they have. Okay, so when we're scrolling the internet, a lot of people scroll the internet for reasons that are just passive, right? Just for entertainment or whatever. And so people are not always consciously aware of what it is that they're struggling with. And so when you are creating content and positioning yourself online, one of the things that you can focus on is helping people to understand what it is that they are struggling with, what their the reasoning behind their issues, if you will. For example, I help people to attract soulmate clients, right? People might not actually realize that, well, mindset is one of the reasons that you're not able to attract soulmate clients or that you're struggling to attract soulmate clients. Alignment is another reason that they might be struggling with this. And then mindset, alignment, and then taking action, consistent action, showing up as their next level self, developing that confidence, right? So there are a ton of reasons why someone might be struggling to attract soulmate clients. But if I'm just focusing on all those reasons why and not identifying, not highlighting the problem and also the solution, then people, they're just not really going to understand what it is that I'm talking about. What I see a lot of people do is, to put this in more concrete terms, because I feel like this is very fluffy, a lot of my clients will post content as who they are today, which is great, right? And also we have to recognize that who we are today is, I don't want to say this as if we're better than other people. It's just that we've advanced in certain areas in our area of expertise. And people who are wanting to learn from us maybe are not there yet within their understanding of what it is that we do, right? And this happens a lot in the coaching world. So we need to create clarity on like, okay, why is it that you struggle to eat healthy, right? Or like, why is it that you're struggling to lose weight? Or why is it that you're struggling to show up? And when we can create that clarity, then people will actually know and understand what it is that they need to do. And then the invitation can become very clear, right? Are you ready to master your mindset to blah, 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 blah? I would love to work with you. Let me know, or send me a DM, or let's hop on a call and explore like what working together could be like. You know what I mean? So in all of the content that you're creating awareness around what it is that they're struggling with, and then offering that invitation, like inviting them to connect further, inviting them to take a look at your program, inviting them to whatever it is that you desire to invite them to. So if we focus on the law of giving and receiving, like I was saying, a lot of people feel like entitled because, and it's not even like necessarily entitlement. Maybe that's not the right word. But what I see a lot of new entrepreneurs do is they show up and they're like, hey, I just launched a new program. Here's all the information about my program. People don't give a fuck about your program. People do not care that you just opened up a program. People care about themselves, and they care about the problems that they are currently working on. They care about their to-do list. They care about their family. They care about all of their struggles, right? And so if we can know and understand this and then create content that actually helps them with where they are currently at, provided that it's in alignment with who you are, and then invite them to your program, to your offering, to connect with you, then it's like way more seamless, and it creates not only like a better client experience, but it's the law of attraction. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I found to be particularly helpful in my business when it comes to creating a lot of momentum and also calling in soulmate clients, is that I give value, I give content that is inspirational, but also educational, things that people can do. Like, for example, this free 5-day live series. There are going to be people that come on and just tune into my live series. That's going to be enough for them. And then there are going to be people that decide to join me inside of the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator, and that will be perfect for them, right? But I'm not showing up. Obviously, my intention with showing up for this live series is to share about my Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator. But it's not the only thing that I'm talking about, right? I'm always linking back to it, and I'm always sharing information. Here's what you need to know. And if you want to take it further, come and join me inside the accelerator. Do you know what I mean? So this is kind of like, this is what I teach my clients, how to show up, share the things, and then invite in. And so it kind of is challenging for me to like explain this a little bit more specifically, because this is going to vary depending on who you are. It's going to vary depending on what industry you're in. It's going to vary depending on what you like to talk about and what your offers are as well. But the thing that I can tell you is that the more clarity that we can create around it's not even what it is that you offer, but helping your clients to see what it is that they need support with, because a lot of people don't actually know what they need support with, and then offering your program as a solution to help them deepen their learning, to help them get the results that they desire, to help them with accountability, with a solution, with a service, whatever. Then again, it's like positioning yourself for a clear sale for the people who are ready to commit to that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I find that a lot of people, including myself when I was in this place, when we focus on ourselves and we focus on running our business for ourselves, it's a lot more difficult to show up. So what I like to recommend is that you start showing up not for yourself, but for other people, right? So how can you start to connect with your audience? How can you start to connect with your community and start to help people, right? Start to get familiar with who's in your community, who needs your help, what are they struggling with, what can you actually help them with, and go from there. And not only does this help you to gain your confidence and help you to understand what your community is struggling with, it helps you to create content as well, right? You can easily bring that into a post where you're like, oh, I was having this conversation the other day. Here's what we talked about. here's what I said was the solution or whatever, and then plug, let's hop on a call. Let's, talk about what I have to offer. And it's not even like, okay, let me talk about the positioning of how you offer the thing. It's not a here's my program kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's if you are ready to do X, Y, and Z, if you are ready to attract soulmate clients with more ease and replace your 9-to-5 income, that's my tagline. So you cannot take that, but you can adapt it, I guess, if that's what you help people do. So if that's what it is that we do, if you're ready to see those results, then here I can help you. I'm here for you. Let's talk about it, right? And this is going to be different for everyone. Like I said, it takes a lot of time and practice to learn the way in which you talk to your audience, the way in which you talk to your community, the way in which you decide to invite people into what it is that you have to offer. And what I have to say about this, when you're choosing to show up and serve people, the energy behind it is not I am just doing this in order to make money. It's not, I am just doing this in order to sell my program. It's not, I am just doing this in order to whatever. It's knowing that obviously to sell X number of seats, I need to show up and I need to serve, but also I'm showing up and serving anyway. And I know that some way, somehow, I'm going to fill those seats in my program. Right. And the reason I bring attention to this energetic approach is because a lot of people will make this connection between I'm showing up for this and expecting the result. And then when the results start to not come, then they get really down and upset and depressed about it. And then they don't want to show up. And then therefore their energy goes from here, yes, I can do it. I'm confident. I'm capable, to down here to manifesting, oh, I'm sick. I can't show up anymore. Oh, this happened. I can't show up anymore, or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? And so we're not focusing on me, myself, and I. We're always focusing on the greater good, the greater collective, the community, the people that we can support and that we can help. And of course, I deserve to make money. I am worthy of making money. I'm worthy of working with clients. I am worthy of attracting soulmate clients. And these two things are separate, right? This is separate work. It's yes, I need to show up for the face of my brand, but I also desire to help and serve people. And also I'm divinely worthy of receiving money, having my needs met, and whatever it is over here. But we're not connecting the two. The more we connect the two, the more narrow our mind becomes, our energy becomes, and the less open we are to receiving the results that we desire in different ways, right? And the less open we are to receiving our desires in different ways, the less open we are to receiving our desires from different ways. And this is part of manifestation, right? Is opening up to all the ways in which you can receive something and being open to the universe surprising you in massive ways. Hey Queen, if you are learning from this episode, then you are going to love the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator. This is the space where mindset, manifestation, and strategy come together to put the magic back into your business. Want to fill your DMs with clients ready to work with you? Want to make your dream job or business a reality this year? Ready to take Fridays off without worrying about your to-do list? You don't have to work hard or wait forever to get to where you want to be. It's all available to you right here, right now. Come and join us in the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator, where we're making magic happen in our businesses. I'll not only show you how to do it, we will walk with you every step of the way as you implement what you learn. Go to coachlaurenashley.com/accelerator today to join. And remember, whatever you want, bippity boppity boo, it's yours. So I think for me, what I'm trying to pretty much explain here is when we hold the frequency of I am 100% committed to making this thing over here work, filling my program, selling my program, whatever. And also I desire to show up and serve. I desire to empower people. I want people to feel like this way when they engage with my content, then that is that energy of the up level. Does that make sense? That's the energy of attracting people into your world, into your offers, into your programs. And it's also very clear for people, like when they are engaging with your content, they have a clear way. So for the observer, the person on the other side, they're learning about the work that you do when you're posting. So they're learning about themselves, learning about the problems they have, learning about what it is that you do and what it is that you can offer. And then the invitation, the process to get there is very clear for them. And when people feel that clarity, it's easier for them to make a decision, right? It's easy for them to make a step forward to come into your space because, first of all, you are committed and confident in what it is that you're doing. Second of all, you've created a clear pathway for people. So many times I see people like way overcomplicating things, and overcomplicating things, if it's complicated for you, is going to be more complicated for the person on the other side because you know your business the best. Other people do not know your business, right? So how can you make it easy as possible? The other thing I want to bring attention to before I talk about the invitation and then letting go, it takes, and I think I mentioned this the other day, it takes a while to build trust online, right? Building trust in person is probably the easiest way to do it. But if you're building an online business, it takes more time to build trusting relationships online. And so what I want you to know is that every single time that you show up for your business, you're showing up for the future of your business. And what I find a lot of entrepreneurs get down and disappointed about is like, oh, I've been posting for a week, no results. Well, like we got to create a lot of momentum behind what, like you and your business and what you do in order for those results to come. Building a business takes a lot of time. And the more people see you, the more people see that you're showing up, the more people can see. Someone actually just made an email about this. I'm going to share it with you. The more people see you being present in your business, the more they're going to be able to rely and trust you, right? So Courtney Schoberg of the #Files Society just sent an email the other day that was like, okay, if you were to like be obsessed with a Netflix show, but then this Netflix show never actually posted the final episodes, how would you feel? You would feel like you're hanging on a shoestring, like what is going on, cliffhanger, and you never got to know what the end result was, right? And so then you go looking for another show because obviously you can't rely on this show to post all of the episodes. And it's what she said is it's the same for your community. If you're not showing up consistently and you're not posting, right, and staying present on your social media, then people are going to find somewhere else that they can rely on for constant updates or for content or somebody who is more trustworthy, right? It's the same. I use the same analogy, but in a relationship. It's like if you're in like a super loving relationship and you are only showing up to see this person or answering their phone calls like once a month or once every 2 months, there's no consistency there. And if there's no consistency there, people have a hard time trusting. And this isn't to say that you have to burn yourself out or that you have to show up when you don't want to show up. It's really just saying like, how can you set the intention to show up more frequently and in a way that works for you, right? And the thing with this too is like, you don't have to show up like multiple times every single day. It's like even just creating an email list and saying like, okay, I'm going to send an email every week, like, but commit to that. You know what I mean? If you say you're going to post podcasts every week, post podcasts every week. If you say you're going to do something every day, do that thing every day. But every time that you decide to flake out on something because you think that people aren't paying attention, you think that, oh, it's still early, like people won't notice. Well, people do notice. They might not be 100% aware of it, but they do notice when you're not like, coming through, fulfilling your promises. And if you don't fulfill your promises for what you say you're going to do on social media or online, how are you going to fulfill your promises if they pay you, right? So with that said, how can you commit? This isn't to throw shade or to make you feel bad whatsoever, because I've totally been there where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this thing and then I don't do it. And then I realized, oh my God, that's like totally creating a lack of trust with my audience. Well, how can you maybe not set yourself up for failure? Because I find a lot of high achievers, they're like, oh my God, all of a sudden they have this inspired idea, but they set themselves up for doing these really big things in their business because they have these inspired ideas. But then if you actually take a moment to think about, like, is this actually realistic? And then it's not realistic, then you can actually make that correction before setting yourself up for that failure. Okay, so the invitation, whenever you're inviting somebody into your world, it always comes from a place of service and always comes from a place of like, I would love to explore this further with you, or I would love to help you with whatever it is. Obviously, again, like I said, it's going to be different for every single business, different for every single person. But what it is for me is it's like, okay, here's what you're struggling with. Here's what I can help with. I can, or my working with my clients on this or whatever. If you are ready for this as well, I invite you to blah, 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 blah. And then from there, when we're having conversations and everything, it's always just an invitation. It's like, okay, you came to me and said that you wanted this. What's holding you back from getting there? Like, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Okay, like, I know that building your business is really important to you. Would you like to explore how you can create more time? Would you like to explore how you can make the time to work on it? Would you like to explore how, you can come up with the money to invest in yourself? Things like that. It's always just inviting your prospective clients, your future clients, to step into possibility. So a lot of the time what happens is we kind of get stuck in our current way of thinking, and we get stuck in this belief that, well, in the future, once I have this or once I have that or once I make this happen, then I will, right? And obviously we know as professionals that, well, actually, what if, like, the action to take is kind of before you make the thing happen. So if you're an entrepreneur, what you need to know is that you don't wait until you have the success. You don't wait until you have all the pieces in order. You don't wait until you have all of the details figured out to start being an entrepreneur, right? The magic is in stepping into that right here, right now, and making moves right here, right now, and taking action as if you already have your business up and running. So if you're interested in learning more on how to do that, I can help you inside of the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator. Would love to have you there. And so, yeah, like I said, the invitation is always of service. It's always respectful of the client. It's like, well, how can I help you get this? I would love to support you in getting this result that you say you want, right? And if their desires change, that's fine. We're always here to honor our clients and always here to honor their journey, and not to project our desperation for, if you are in this place, our desperation for clients, our desperation for getting our business off the ground. It's not about that. It's about working on yourself, right? Working on your worthiness, and always offering an invitation to deepen the work with you, and knowing in your heart that you are capable of what you say you are capable of. And if you're struggling with inviting people into your business, if you're struggling with receiving yeses or getting people on a call, or, people just can't commit right now, I would look at your beliefs around what you believe to be true around your worthiness of helping people, right? Or your worthiness to, not even your worthiness, but maybe your confidence in making those results that you say you can help people with happen. And I would also look at the way in which you're approaching your conversations, because sometimes we leak energy there because we feel XYZ around sales. We feel like we don't want to cross people's boundaries or put pressure or whatever. And like I said, when we kind of let go of all of that, like the fear of like, oh, I'm afraid that, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of whatever, and we just focus on serving, focus on showing up, focusing on helping people make their vision a reality, or whatever it is that you are here to do, then that is coming from a place of service, and that is helping people to step into their true power, right? It's never coming from a place of force, always service. So, and of course we can challenge people too, right? I get a lot of people that come to me and they're like, oh, well, I was thinking, like in 2 years that I would take my business full time. Okay, well, like FYI, the time is right now to start building toward that, because it does take time to build a business, especially if you're working full time. It's not just like, oh, one day I decide to be a full-time entrepreneur and there we go. I'm now a full-time entrepreneur, right? You have to work up to the quantum leap. You have to work up to the results that you desire. Today's code word is dream. If you would like a chance to win a 1-hour coaching call with me to overcome your blocks and make big moves toward manifesting and creating your dream life and business, then send me the word dream to @CoachLaurenAshley or @AlignedAndMagnetic on Instagram for your chance to win. The third thing is letting go, right? So yeah, letting go of the process. I have this mini course called The Art of Surrender, and I feel like if you are struggling with letting go of results, this would be a really great mini course for you. So let me know and I will send you the link to that. Letting go of the results, letting go of how it happened, letting go of control, trusting and knowing that the universe is supporting you, trusting and knowing that your soulmate clients are coming to you, that you are worthy of them, and that everything is happening in divine timing. This is such a key move here when it comes to sales and when it comes to positioning yourself online. You have to know, trust, and believe that everything that you are posting right now, everything and every which way that you are showing up right now is going to pay off at some point, and not putting conditions on it like, oh, well, this didn't work this week, so therefore I'm going to take a month off and then try again next month. Like, no, every little thing that we do, even if the numbers are not where we want them to be, even if we don't have the signups we want, even if we don't have the amount of calls in our calendar booked, everything is a part of the bigger picture. And knowing and trusting and believing in that, knowing and trusting and believing that your results are coming, the sales are coming when you do the work and when you show up for it. And when you come from a place of service, all of it is coming in divine timing. You don't always get to control exactly how much money you make this month, next month, whatever. But what you can do is control what you get to show up for. And if you are showing up for the work, showing up for what you need to show up for as a leader, doing what you need to do to get the word out there, right? If I just decided that I didn't want to show up for this live series, would you guys even know about the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator? Because I post about it all the time, but the chances that you actually see all of the content that I post is probably very slim. So obviously we need to honor ourselves and honor our energy and not like overstretch. But at the same time, it does take a lot of work to show up. It does take a lot to put yourself out there. It does take a lot to get the word out and get people knowing and interested in what it is that you have to offer. And it takes time, and it takes people hearing about what you have to offer, sometimes several times before they decide to actually commit, right? So when we can start to see our business as a long-term project and less of like I need to make, $2,000 or $3,000 this month, well, that's going to shift a lot of the energy. So all of these things, positioning yourself, inviting people in, and letting the fuck go are all part of my aligned, magnetic, and profitable framework. They're also part of, they're part of the magnetic pillar, how we magnetize people into our world, how we magnetize soulmate clients, how we put ourselves out there and position ourselves as leaders in our industry. And like I said, I go deeper with all of this. I can help you with this inside of the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator. And this space is being created at this moment for the entrepreneur, the coach, the healer, the service provider who is ready to attract soulmate clients with much more ease and replace your 9-to-5 income. We have to show up for the results that we desire, but it doesn't have to be like complicated and overwhelming. We can really simplify it and put a process in place step by step that works for you, that feels good to you, and that really gives you the freedom to show up consistently and also to have something in place that you can lean on, like some sort of structure that you can lean on where you know you're going to be, where your audience knows you're going to be. And that can also help you set up for the sale, right? Help you position yourself for the sale, help you position yourself for the invitation to invite your prospects into your world. This episode is derived from Client Attractor, a free 5-day live series that I ran pretty recently. You can access the full experience by signing up for Client Attractor. The link is in the show notes, so you can learn how to stand out online without feeling overwhelmed and attract more soulmate clients into your offers or programs with ease. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. If you like what you heard, I would love it if you left a review. If you like my vibe, come and hang with me in my Facebook or Telegram group. I'll drop the link to my email list below where you can get instant access. Make sure you check the show notes for any other links that I mentioned today. And until next time, I'm sending you waves of abundance.